Greetings and the best of salutations. It will be prayer, power, peace, patience, and prosperity. And all that, one must give praise to life and all of its existence. This is the expression of the social interventionist from one of my books, Principles and Standards, Philosophical, Therapeutic Thoughts of Expression. Anything that we do in anything or any form of interaction that is taking place, it is a psychotherapy. Yep. And the type of interactions sends a message to those who see the interaction and those whom we are interacting with. May we not be presumptuous nor pretentious. Chapter 1, Rules of Engagement. When intelligence is in the room, manipulation must flee. I have learned that we can interpret and give validation and give credibility to the written material of the past and follow that doctrine as something that is perfect, something that is credible, something that is of value. It's not that I am disputing that. My concern is to build on that which has been written and add to it, not taking away from anything, but just adding to it in a manner, in a way that helps me or will help another individual to be in a best position, not only to deal with reality in which I live, but to best interpret that reality, that one does not get out of touch with that reality, and therefore will give value and validate and give credibility to something that helped others interpret and deal with reality at that particular time. And one must be also mindful that even though something was given to a people to help them deal with that reality, it does not mean that they would readily accept that which was given to them or that which was written at a particular period of time. It does not mean that those accepted that which was written. So if they did not accept that which was written, some will call it prophetically, that now it is accepted. Yes. So, but it also indicates the influence of that particular society that possibly had on the minds of those as it pertains to the manner and way in which people were interacting with each other and interacting with the influences of the society, which puts which could put people at odds with one another as it pertains to a type of information that people will grasp or gravitate to. Put it that way, gravitate to. Because one thing I realized that people would become entertained by knowledge in which they cannot grasp. So therefore, we're dealing with something that's considered to be a conjecturer, a conjurer, a magician. Yes. So these people will be under what they call a spell. When intelligence is in the room, manipulation may flee. Chapter 1, Rules of Engagement. This is the book here. These are 9 verses of the opening chapter. Follow if you may. Before the eyes. Key word is before. A period of time preceding a particular, let's just say event, even though I would challenge that, but that's okay. Prior to or previous in front of something or someone. I realize we're born in a condition, placed in a situation, surrounded by circumstances due to some previous activity that's taken place. Verse 1, before the eyes can see, they must temporarily be incapable, temporarily, of tears and emotions. Too much emotion without enough logic. They must get out of the way to hear the truth and overcome the hurt, the pain, and stress. Now, I say this as a social interventionist. I communicate through 5.5 channels of communication. One is understanding, the second is tolerance, the third is temperance/temperament, 4 is confidence and respect. And everything that I do lines up, or everything that I'm sharing, I like to line it up. Because as I started off with verse 1, before the eyes can see, they must temporarily be incapable of tears and emotion. Is this possible? Just exploring the possibilities. Too much emotion without enough logic. There must be the balance. They must get out of the way. Talking about one's emotions. Can we get out of the way of our emotional? Can we get out of the way of emotional reasoning? How we interpreted reality emotionally. We can equate one incident or something that someone has done to us and take it out on another human being. That's called misuse aggression. But it also happens to deal with one that is very psychotic because he or she is have been out of touch with reality for a very long time. And I always say that we living in a simulated reality is not our own. Let's deal with outside influences of the society in which we live, how people become entertained by that. So, to overcome the hurt, the pain, and the stress. And remember, I said the first channel of communication is understanding. Before we do anything, get into any type of relationship with one another, before we must realize, don't be deceived of thinking people have an understanding. So that requires, patience. Understanding that uh, their tears and emotions must get out of the way. We must have balance. Don't be deceived if think people are balanced, have balance in their life. based upon where they are in their careers. Yes, and you can share something with someone for some time, and you can be right. I mean, you can. I'm just not saying right, but I just use this language. You could be right. Uh, right, strength. This represents strength, but due to one's their weakness and their ignorance as well, that someone else will come and share something with them that you have been sharing with them, but it did not, register or resonate with them, and because they have not yet, you know, evolved in the understanding of um, the importance of the interaction in the relationship that one have with the individual whom they're relating with, and even the interaction of the influence of the information and that which they are reading. So, which means there is a no comprehension. Number two, before you can hear, you must temporarily lose your sensitiveness. Be coherent. Yes, and this happens to deal with tolerance. We must not be deceived by thinking people are more um, are more tolerant than what they give off publicly to you. Remember I said earlier, let's not be pretentious and be presumptuous. You know what I'm saying? So be coherent. Number three, before the voice, seek. You shall find your voice can speak in one another's presence. It must have lost the power to wound, knowing when there is balance, understanding speaks clearly. We just see that this deals with one's temperance slash temperament, self-control, temperament, one's attitude. Verse 4, before the soul, the breath of life, can stand on his own merit. If you notice that possibly when a child comes out head first, crawls head first, then stand on his own 2 feet, the head is on top, standing. Um, Before the soul can stand on his own merit of honor, dignity, and integrity in the presence of one another, his feet must be washed in cleansing his feet must be washed in cleansing of the heart and the spirit. The heart is the center of the intellect. The spirit is the energy. The heart of the intellect. When knowledge is applied, it becomes intelligence. That's confidence. That's confidence. Before, let's not once again be deceived. Before progress, because I realize we need to learn to reason from the premise of conversation and reason with progression. Follow the line of progress. That is the logical thing to do. And I realize there's two struggles: common sense versus nonsense, and regression versus progression. But before progress can be pursued, the mind must constantly be emptied out and renewed. Renewed. We have this fixation. We must constantly be renewed, revived, revigorated, refreshed on a daily basis. And one of the techniques is to meditation. Constantly must be emptied and renewed. One brother says, Dr. King says that the ghetto is like a domestic colony, always being depleted but not replenished. Be renewed. Far too many times we can be overwhelmed and we become burnt out. Yes. So we must learn to renew ourselves and delegate some of the activities that we may be participating in some of our duties. I realize that if there is any reward, it is reward by way of diligence. Diligence. Yes. And in the literature it says that he is a reward of those who diligently seek him. Diligence. Now, verse 6, don't make. That's a don't. A don't. That's a don't. Don't make assumptions. Find the courage to answer questions and to express what you want. Communicate with others as clearly as you can to avoid misunderstanding, because the greater distance between us all is a misunderstanding. It is said that the worst distance between us all is a misunderstanding. I know I said that earlier. Sadness, drama, drama with just this one agreement, you can completely transform your life. You need to overcome it by uh, closing the gap of misunderstanding. Transform on renewing on a constant basis. Verse 7, always and always. Stevie Wonder did a song called Always. But in always, do your best. And I think of the best is maybe the God is best, they call it, and to Kemet, protective women, children. The best. Your best will change. Remember, we're going through it as change now. From moment to moment. It will be different when you are healthy as opposed to sick. Under any circumstances, do your best. Again, that is reinforced in this verse. Do your best. And you will avoid self-judgment, judgment focus, which means you make out one to be inferior at the expense. You make yourself to be superior at the expense of one being inferior. Judgment focus, or some will call it niggardly, Nagardly, which means you see another as insignificant and you see yourself insignificant due to the fact that society may have put you in a place that puts you out of touch with reality. Yes. And then you will see another as insignificant. And then you will go to extreme acts of violence and wind up taking that individual out. And that is a person that is very psychotic. Judgment, self-abuse, and regret, sadness, and drama with just this one agreement. Again, you completely transform your life. Huh? It's always about transforming one's life. The power is transforming power. Verse 8, attract what you expect. An unfulfilled expectation leads to frustration. Behind that is a spirit of deception. Attract what you expect. Reflect what you desire. Become what you respect. Mirror what you admire. In verse 9, it sums it up with the law of averages. The law of averages is aware. Awareness is the beginning of time. That our inner conversations are the causes of the circumstances of life, and circumstances makes us other than ourselves. So if we create the circumstances, may we not continue to fall into and become and play the game and being the victim of the circumstances in which either you and I have created. This is the expression of the social interventionist from my book, Principles and Standards, Philosophical Therapeutic Thoughts of Expression. Chapter 1. There are 7 chapters in this book. Chapter 1, when intelligence is in the room, manipulation must flee. Chapter 1, rules of engagement. Next time, I may possibly talk with you about chapter 2 in the book. If anyone wants to purchase the book, I can be reached at 443-938-8241. If not, I can be reached at comhuem@gmail.com. And the website is chumanity.org. And the name of the organization is Common Humanity Mission, Inc. Our motto is communicate with precision, a clear image to the world through 5.5 channels: understanding, tolerance, temperament, confidence, and respect. Our mandate is to cultivate the potential of knowledge that is in us all, and our mission is to promote the value of self-worth. Doing my best to be my best at being better rather than being bitter. Until next time, talk to you.